Okay, so we're gonna start off the Dhamma discussion about the sutta. Can someone tell me what sutta we're gonna discuss today? Aranna Sutta. Aranna Sutta. It's a Pali word. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Pali. I was just trying to mention the name. So this is number 10, sutta number 10 of Samyutta Nikaya. Aranya. What does Aranya? Aranya mean? People say, I go to Aranya, forest, right? It's forest. Okay, so what's the background story of this sutta? It's a very short sutta. Actually, this sutta talks about why monks, especially in this case monks' complexion is serene, right? So why monks' complexion is serene, very peaceful, why they look very peaceful. And a deity, a deva, came to see the Buddha and asked the question, why I see that monks look very peaceful, very serene. So that was what happened, right? At Savatthi, standing to one side, that Devata recited a verse. Okay? Aranye viharan tanang santanam brahmacharinang eka bhattang bunjamanang kena vanno pasidati. Now these monks were not the monks who live in the city, right? They were pretty much monks who lived in the forest. Those who dwell deep in the forest, aranye, so aranye means in the forest. Peaceful, leading the holy life. So Brahma, what is Brahma in Buddhism, in Pali? So Brahma is a very famous, popular name in India, because Hindu people believe that they were created by this person called Almighty Brahma, right? So Mahabrahma. And in his suttas, Buddha used the analogy, this Brahma, not to be a god or deity. The real Brahma is your parents. Those of them who made you to be born into this life. So they are the real Brahmanas. That is one meaning. It says Brahmati Mata Pitru. That means your mom and dad, they are the parents. So they are the Brahmas, okay? And not that there is someone called, not that Mahabrahma. Mahabrahma is a popular, accepted person in Hinduism, but not that person created you, but your parents. Another meaning of Brahma is the highest. So Brahma Viharana, called. That means the highest forms of living. We know there are 4 types of Brahma type of virtues, qualities. What are they? Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka, right? So Buddha says, if someone wants to increase one's life to the highest, to the fullest of their life, they need to increase metta, loving kindness, and then kindness, compassion, karuna, and mudita, altruistic joy, and then upekka, equanimity. So staying balanced when they are complimented or constructively criticized or whatever other. There are 8 things that happen to our life, right? So Brahma is the highest. Now, when it comes to this particular analogy, Brahmacharina, that means monks or nuns who are living the highest life in the forest. Now the deity was asking about these monks. Those who dwell deep in the forest, peaceful, santi. Santi is peace, right? Do you remember the Metta Sutta? Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang pada. Right? Those of them who want to achieve the peace, right? Santang. So santanam brahmacharinam, eating but a single meal a day. Okay, so these monks, they had one meal a day, probably in the morning or just a breakfast or just a lunch. Someone could say that it was the brunch, right? But anyway, it's a single meal a day. And then after that, why is their complexion so serene, so peaceful? Now, I would like to connect this question to another event that happened in the Majjhima Nikaya. King Kosala, I can't remember the exact name of the sutta, probably Dhammacetiya Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. King Kosala approached the Buddha, and then he was saying the same thing in a different way to the Buddha. Okay, I will translate what he said in this way. I can, Venerable Sir, he was telling the Buddha, Venerable Sir, I can see other disciples of other, teachers, they look emaciated, haggard, they look pale, they don't look, strong. But your disciples, your monks, in this case monks and nuns and whoever these monastics, they look hatta pahatta, they are joyful and elated. Udaggudagga, jubilant and exultant. Abhirata Rupa, enjoying the spiritual life. They seem that they are enjoying the spiritual life. Sometimes you see the people in the spiritual life, you don't see that they are enjoying what they are involving with. Pinitindriya, with faculties pleased, but in the moderate way. Appusukka, free from anxiety. That means monks and these monastics are not supposed to have anxiety, right? I saw one report somewhere in Japan. One of the Japanese monks were trying to sue the temple because they don't give him kind of a free time. A Zen monk. When it comes to institutionalization of the temple, I feel like they are so stressed out. So, but in this text, we get to see that these monastics were free from anxiety, appusukka, pannaloma, serene, paradavutta, peaceful. And this is very important, more than the rest of the stuff. Mika bhutena chetasa viharati, living with a deer's mind. So they have the mind of a deer. I don't know, they talk about, I have seen other names of this animal, not just a deer. What was the name of that animal? Starting from Gusly. How do you call him? Gus. Antelope. It's like kind of an antelope. But in this case, a deer. So deers are living with that peaceful mind. Unless they are not, scared by any other, predator. But anyway, but what we have to understand is that Megabhutena Chetasa Viharati means that these monastics living with a deer's mind, that means light-hearted, right? So Buddha was telling King Kosala, these are the reasons why they are, so serene, so peaceful. They look very good. But then, what was the answer the Buddha gave to this particular deity when he asked, those who dwell deep in the forest, peaceful, leading the holy life, brahmacharinam, eating but a single meal a day, why is their complexion so serene? Buddha says, Atitang nanu sochanti, nappa jappanti nagata. So there's a combination. We have to decombine these Pali words, okay? So combinations happen when the idea needs some sprucing, and then at the same time, euphonic at the same time in terms of the language. Pachupannena yapenti te tena vanne pasidati. Okay. Atitang, what is atita in Pali? Past, right? Na anusochan. So they do not worry over the past. Now, don't just confine this to the monastics. Now, this is like serenity, peace. They all are connected to your secular life, right? So then, the first thing why monastics are like this is that they do not worry about the past, over the past. The second thing, nappa jappanti nagatang. So we have to decombine. Na jappanti. Na api jappanti anagatang. So they do not hanker for the future. They do not worry about the future. Pachuppanenaya. What is Pachuppanne in Pali? Present time. Present time means Pachuppan. They maintain themselves with what is present. Hence their complexion is so serene. Tena vanni pasit. Now when I discuss this, you may have some different thoughts. Now, do we really not need to go to the past? Do you think that do a lot of people go to the past, and why do a lot of people go to the past? What are the reasons?
I think some people might go to the past for a reference point.
For reference points.
But if you're talking about dwelling in the past, there's a difference. Dwelling in the past, I agree with you. I think is something that should be avoided because you're just reminding yourself of only a specific set of memories instead of looking at the whole view.
But what oftentimes happens is that people gonna dwell in the past with the memories that happened.
They just remember certain negative events.
Negative events.
Playing over and over again. They don't look at the other.
Okay. Why do people cannot think about the positive, pleasant type of memories? Why do people always need to go to the past and only dwell in the negative, events?
I'm not 100% sure. It's not something I fully understand. I mean, you would think that it would be in people's best interest to remember all the, the positive events, but for some reason, that seems to be a very common trait that people. I grew up my whole life in Ottawa, but I'm assuming it's like similar across the whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
That people just have a tendency to. But as for why, I can make a guess. I don't have to full. You want to guess?
Yeah, kind of a generic answer.
I think it would have to do. One of my guesses. There's probably other variables, but I think one would be the ego.
Mm-hmm.
I think people want to. They want their because I know one of the tendencies is to be very humble and to see yourself objectively
Mm-hmm.
instead of putting yourself at high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when people have that goal to highly esteem themselves, any sort of small mistake that would have been made or anything that goes against their sense of higher self, they're going to capitalize on it, and it'll be a stain on their memory until they learn how to, have a more objective view on what they really are.
Yeah, true. At the same time, I think the perfectionism, like people want to have all the events happen in the best possible way that they think, but they don't happen the way that they always think, right? So anyway.
But is it good always to forget the past?
No. That is something that we're going to talk about after this. Now, actually, it's good to go to the past for reference points if you think that you want to learn something from the past. But
grateful for certain things.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, grateful. At the same time, we're talking about the negativity actually in the first place. But if you're going to dwell in the past, that could be a problem because the past is already gone and you can't change that unless you take something out of the past, gonna connect to your present moment as a positive factor, right? So these monastics, they don't worry over the past. At the same time, they do not hanker for the future. Does that mean that monastics don't plan out for the future? Like what they are supposed to do tomorrow, today evening. Planning out is a good thing, right? We all need to plan out for the future. But they don't dwell in the future as well. Dwelling in the future is also a problem because the future is yet to come, right?
There's nothing to hold on to.
Yeah,
you can't rely on it. You can say, "Oh, well, I'm hungry today. Well, tomorrow I'll have a good meal." No, but I'm hungry now. It doesn't fill your belly now.
True, yeah. So that means it's good. It's good to plan out, but not to dwell in that future because it still need to come.
You can only apply yourself in the present. You can't apply yourself in the past or future.
Yeah, true.
Staying in the present is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Pachuppaneneyapinti, so they maintain this present moment to the fullest of their capacity with their spiritual life. I think what they are doing is that they take the future as a reference point, at the same time they take the past as a reference point. At the same time, they plan their future, because this moment will become the past in a moment, right? And the future is something that we are, becoming, right? So then that's why we can't separate this out in that unnecessary way. Anyway, so Buddha says, these monastics do not worry over the past nor the future, but they take the best out of the past and the future, and then use those things to maintain this present moment or present time. That is why you get to see that their complexion is so serene. I think we may be sometimes stressed out because we are too much into the past, or we are too curious about the future, right? This may happen to all of us because we don't know how much time we need to, set aside for these two of the ends of the time. Is time real, or is time mythical?
It doesn't really naturally divide itself up in any particular way. I mean, if you think about when most people say the past, like I remember this. What that means is that they call to mind there appears for them some mental image, or some sounds, or some touch or smell or something. And the same thing happens when they imagine the future. They're just calling to mind some particular experience. But really, there's no way in which that's different from this experience, right? If I remember being at the temple last week, it's the same thing as being at the temple now, or me imagining being here next week. So it's just an arbitrary way of ordering our experiences so that we can communicate them. In a way
but when you take a look at that presence and this presence, because now we have sort of like a grip of this time, maybe you can increase that reference to this time.
But you can't experience the past.
Yeah,
you
can.
Or the future. You can only experience, because if you try and think, oh, what was the past like?
Yeah.
Well, then you're actually experiencing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your memory is happening now.
Yeah. So then, using past as a reference point to increase the present time, but maintaining the present time needs to be the priority. In this case, for the monastic, that's why they are so serene, so peaceful. And then Buddha also talks about the people who are doing the opposite, the other people. Anagata anagatappa jappaya atitassanu sochana etena bala sussanti nalava haritu lutu. Now, the people who don't do this thing, this real authentic thing, what Buddha said, what they are doing is that they are always worrying over the past and also for the future. They are called bala. Who are the balas in Buddhism? Fools, right? So fools, sussanti, fools dry up, right? They wither away. And Buddha gives a kind of a simile, like a green reed cut down. So this reed is green and is always cut down, and there is no use of for whatever the purpose. Okay, so the main thing is that the monastics look very serene and happy because they don't worry over the past or know the future, but they try to use those empirical experiences towards the betterment of the present moment. I think we can use the same way into our life to make our life, peaceful and more serene. Any questions?
I have a question. So
Yeah.
What was the answer? Is the time real or imaginary?
The answer to the question I asked from him?
Yeah.
Well, I think time is not real in the sense of the reality in Buddhism, but time is real in this secular context, because we based on the time. But the 24 hours, and they all are different when you compare with the Buddha's time and Buddha's events. But we know we are spending something. So so that time is something that was constructed to sort of like you know make us comfortable in our life. And I don't think in the reality, with the real concept in Buddhist understanding, that has some issues. But I don't think it's a problem for any of us, because we are not struggling with these such concepts. We're simply using this secular given time for our spiritual life. So I don't think in that case it's gonna be a problem.
No, it's no problem.
Yeah, it's no problem, because rather than we're gonna fit us into that normal time frames.
I think that comes traditionally in Buddhist approaches to problem solving, we have the conventional and the ultimate.
Yes,
truth.
Sammuti and Paramattha.
Yeah, so I think
True.
in this case we can speak of time as a conventional
As a Sammuti.
reality.
As a Sammuti.
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
conventional reality, a reality that is accepted by society as a way of living in the world. But then we have the ultimate nature of it, the ultimate truth of it. So in the same way, in the canon, the Buddha frequently said there's a sutta called the Atta Sutta, right? The discourse on self, and it's about how oneself can be one's refuge. But at the same time, the Buddha also said that there is ultimately no such thing as self.
Yeah,
Right? And there's no real contradiction there, because it's just you're talking about employing terms or concepts for convenience versus actually believing them to be true. Yeah.
So in Buddhism, Buddha talks about two types of truths. Actually, these were discussed in great detail in the Abhidhamma, Sammuti and Paramattha. But I think people get stuck. It's a good point, Mike. The reason is that when a lot of people get to study the Nikayas, the ultra, deep suttas, they're gonna, conclude everything to be Paramattha. And Paramattha is something that one has to understand based on the Sammuti. Because Sammuti is what we understand as the normal reality in the normal secular life. That is a good example. Atta. Buddha used Atta in different forms. Because in Buddhism, Buddha talks about Anatta. There is no Atta, but at the ultimate level, as an ultimate reality. But at the conventional level, there is Atta. There is you, there is I, there is me. To the context that one has to understand, one has to take care of oneself, one has to, keep calm, one has to keep comfortable, one has to work on one's spiritual journey. And as a matter of that journey, one attains to an understanding, this I, me, myself thinking also do not exist. But that thing should be understood after understanding the conventional truth of the same. So then trying to read over the ultra, hardcore type teachings in the first place is not a good advice. So it's good to study the conventional truth and then to think about, look at, research about the ultimate truth. We call them Sammuti Satya and Paramattha Satya. I think there are people who are too much curious about, Anatta. They even forget about their lives. Atta. They don't take a good shower. They don't take a good sleep. We all are dying one day, right? Buddha said there's no I, me, myself. So why don't we need to stay comfortable in our life? So they largely ignore the conventional truth, because they started reading Buddhism from the ultimate truths, which was a failure in their spiritual path. Yeah, one more question. Yeah.
I was just going to add to the whole time thing. I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think there's any sort of beginning or end. Like if you look at mathematical principles, there's no, they will always exist, like answers to mathematical equations. So time, I think, only applies to like the physical realm and having to do with natural laws. Like there's a chronology of events that take place, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, only so many different pathways can be walked through. So I think the past, present, future, they're all connected.
Yeah.
From a higher point of view. We can't see it.
But people separate out when they want to go to the past.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah. As a reality, that's true. Yeah. And I want to wrap this up by answering to her question. Is it not good to go to the past for good memories? Yes. Buddha also said, when you have done a lot of good karma, you need to contemplate, oh, I've been doing a lot of good karma, offering dana, practicing sila, practicing bhavana, meditation, practicing whatever other good virtues one needs to contemplate. And that practice itself become the meditation. So they were good memories. But if people only contemplate for the good things they have done up to that moment and never do anything from that point onwards, that's going to be a problem. See? That's why you only pick the past. You can go to the past to revise your practice. You revise your present practice at the same by being happy. Not even your spiritual practice, but also your secular life. Happy memories. It's good to contemplate, but not to dwell, because otherwise you are ruining your present time. Make sense? Okay, so now you know why these monastics are really serene, happy, and do not just limit that to monastics. You can also, relate, use this methodology in a different way, because your lives are different, not like the monastics who live in the forest, who live in secluded places. But you can find out a way from where in which you can fit into this particular methodology, so that you guys look much better, more serene, more peaceful. But I mean, we all always can increase, serenity and peace. There's no harm. Okay. So let's wrap this up then by sharing good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. Idamme ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. May all the deities share in all this good karma. May they be happy and peaceful. Especially Complexion, right? So Debbie's mother, she's kind of sick today. By now, so let's pray for her. May the deities protect and invoke blessings for her, good health and long life, not even to her but also for all of us who came here today, who couldn't show up for different other reasons. May all you be protected by the deities for good health, long life, education, career, life, and all the prosperity. May the deities also be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahintika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu loka sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahintika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahintika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting from the beginning up to this point be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme Nibbana as well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now monks will be reciting few stanzas to bless all of you. Abhivadana silissa nichang vaddhapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samechatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so let's bow down 3 times to Buddha as a respect to wrap this up.